Samsung Unpacked just finished today and they mentioned some pretty important things. Most notably the Galaxy Z Fold and Z Flip 6, the Galaxy Buds 3 and Buds 3 Pro, as well as the new Galaxy Ring and the Galaxy Watch Ultra. So let's break down everything, including the most important parts of the presentation so that you don't have to. Firstly, let's cover this from the start. The world is going crazy for AI and Samsung is no exception. Throughout the entire video, they discuss how Galaxy AI is going to integrate into their new and existing systems in what they're going to call the new Galaxy AI ecosystem. The first thing they discuss is Samsung Health and how they're going to use Galaxy AI to help with your sleep and also help you by giving you wellness tips throughout the day. But this is really just a segue to talk about the new Galaxy Ring, which comes in at $399 US. Note, an article by Tech Central pointed out that they won't be launching the Galaxy Ring in South Africa this year, but they may be considering launching it in 2025. The Galaxy Ring is meant to be a nice, small, unintrusive option and a nice alternative to the Galaxy Watch for people who want to wear wearable devices while they sleep. It's meant to be worn, as Samsung says, 24/7 and integrates with Samsung Health with no subscription. That seems to be a trend that's going on. I'm not a fan of it, but I'm glad that Samsung introduced it, that you don't need a subscription to use it with Samsung Health. It has 3 sensors and Samsung claims that it's going to have up to 7 days worth of battery life. I see the ring sensors and the battery on opposite sides of the ring, so I'm curious how the weight distribution is going to work in that department. But they quickly skimmed through the Galaxy Ring to talk about the new Galaxy Watch Ultra, which looks to be about $650, or in South Africa it looks to be about 20,000 Rand. Now, we know with the Galaxy Watch Ultras, whether it be the Apple or the Samsung, these are made for like the enthusiasts, the hardcore athletes, the people who like to adventure for like a week on end. And because of this, Samsung says that they've now covered it in a new titanium padding and has up to 100 hours of battery life while in power saving mode. They also mentioned that their new 3nm chip is 3 times faster, which is a big jump in my opinion. I'm curious if anyone can actually measure these stats, but 3 times faster than the previous generation, and it's the first of its kind to run Wear OS 5. They also mentioned that there's a new dual frequency GPS tracking system, which is meant to just provide more accurate location tracking. They then doubled down on the enthusiast side of the Galaxy Watch Ultra by catering to cyclists and helping them calculate their FTP, also known as their functional threshold power. I'm not very familiar with this metric, but for those who are, they say that you just need to connect your phone to the bike's power meter, and after cycling for about 4 minutes, then they should be able to calculate it for you. For United States consumers, it's actually also been approved to help detect sleep apnea, which is really cool. For your average consumer though, like myself, they also briefly, and when I say briefly, it was like 20-30 seconds, they briefly introduced the Galaxy Watch 7, which also comes with the new dual frequency GPS system and up to 30 hours of battery life, which is no improvement over the Watch 6, so it makes sense why they kind of glossed over it. But it's coming in at $300, but for South Africa it looks to be about 7,000 Rand for the 40mm watch face and 7,500 Rand for the 45mm watch face. The big bosses of this event are the Z Flip and the Z Fold, with the Z Flip coming in at $1,099, but looks to be about 26,000 Rand in South Africa, and the Z Fold 6 coming in at $1,899, which starts in South Africa at 43,500 Rand, going up to 46,000 Rand. Yikes, that's expensive, guys, all lied to, man. I don't know who's touching this. Dang. The Z Fold 6 is also lighter and thinner than the previous version, with the screen when it's closed going from 6.2 to 6.3 inches. The rest of the presentation for the Z Fold 6 was mainly covering how you can use Galaxy AI to help improve productivity, such things like using circle to search to translate specific parts of an image, as well as math equation solving, where if you have an equation in the picture, it will solve the equation and also provide you with the steps given. I won't lie to you, I'm really curious to see how this matches up against Apple's math notes, because they said they're still adding symbolic math late in the year, but Apple math notes comes with symbolic math as standard. So I think it's got them a bit razzled. So they're gonna try to keep up with Apple. I think Apple's winning in this department. Moreover, the Z Fold 6 is all about productivity and multitasking. So they just kept speaking more about how you can use Galaxy AI tools to help improve that. One of the examples is generating text for emails, and another one is a new feature which they're calling sketch to image, which sounds exactly like what it does. It just takes a sketch and then it generates a new image from it, which you can also use on your existing pictures as well. Which in the example they used, they just drew a boat in a river in Paris and it kind of just integrated a small yacht into the image to make the image look a bit better. In terms of processing, they're claiming that the NPU is 42% faster, the GPU is 19% faster, and the CPU is 18% faster. So just good performance gains all around. Now the Galaxy Z Flip 6 has a new 50 megapixel wide sensor, up from the 12 megapixel on this previous version, which gives it up to 10x zoom. They're also adding a new feature which they're calling AI enhanced zooming, which what it will do is if you and another person are in frame, it will then zoom in and out to try and fix and make sure that everyone else is in frame perfectly. You can kind of check if you're in frame in the flex display, which is a small display underneath the camera. The Galaxy Z Flip 6 also gets a new 4000 mAh battery, up from the 3700 mAh battery on the Galaxy Z Fold 5. They've also said that the ZFold6 has stronger materials and stronger screen, but they didn't really mention what they used. They just mentioned that it's a bit better. Obviously, the Z Flip gets all the Galaxy AI features that we mentioned earlier, but they also added some neat stuff like the live wallpaper. So what that'll do is that your wallpaper using AI will change based on like the time of day or the weather conditions. It could be snowing or raining where you are, and your wallpaper will adjust to fit that, which is really cool. Another cool thing is that they added, as part of live translate sorry, into the Z Flip's flex screen. So what that'll do is if you have it folded up and you're trying to speak to someone, it'll translate on the screen in front of you to the language of the person that you're trying to talk to, which is interesting. But more on live translate is the fact that they're going to be integrating it into third-party apps. I'm assuming apps like WhatsApp and Facebook Messenger, but I'm curious to see how that'll go and whether it's going to be really effective or not. Lastly, the Galaxy Buds 3 and the Galaxy Buds 3 Pro, coming in at $179 and $249 respectively. Although for South Africans, we're looking at about 4,000 Rand for the Buds 3 and 5,000 Rand for the Buds 3 Pro. There were two features I thought that were worth mentioning. One was that they said that they will be using machine learning within the earphones to adjust the sound, whether your earphones sit kind of loose or they sit kind of fully stacked into the ear to make sure that the sound's all balanced. Another one was siren detect, where they will kind of juggle between ambient and active noise cancelling if there's a siren or an alarm that's going off, so that you can make sure that you can still hear it. They also mentioned that they doubled the playback bandwidth from 48 to 96 kilohertz, so your audio quality should improve quite significantly in my opinion. And the Buds 3 come in an open type shape, whereas the Buds 3 Pro come in this canal type shape. I personally prefer the canal type shape, but I can understand if it's not worth an extra 1,000 Rand or an extra $70 to try and justify just getting a better shape. But I would personally go with the Buds 3 Pro, but I'd love to get my hands on them. Samsung ends the presentation by committing to 7 generations worth of operating system upgrades and also 7 years worth of security updates. And then also just assuring people that Galaxy AI runs on device as much as possible to protect the privacy and security of the individual. And that's all for Galaxy Unpacked. Personally, I'm excited for the Galaxy Buds 3 because it's the only product I can actually afford in the lineup. But I would actually love to see the updated processing on the Galaxy Z Fold and the Galaxy Z Flip because those numbers are pretty high in my opinion. If you want to see my thoughts on the Galaxy Buds 2, you can click here. And if you enjoyed the video, leave a like and subscribe if you want to see more. Until then, I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.